Part 1, The Outcast. The spaceport hummed with chaos, a kaleidoscope of alien species moving like scattered electrons through the massive station. In the darkest corner of the cargo loading zone, Eun-ji huddled against a cold metal wall, her iridescent skin shifting between muted blues and soft greens, a natural camouflage that ironically made her more vulnerable. Her species, the Luminara, were known throughout the galaxy as the weakest race. Thin-boned and seemingly fragile, they were often used as servants or simply ignored. Eun-ji was no different. Orphan young, she had survived by taking whatever menial job she could find, always one moment away from being discarded. Today was particularly harsh. The cargo merchants had rejected her again, laughing at her trembling hands and delicate frame. "You can't even lift a standard cargo module," the burly Craxian merchant had sneered, pushing her away with a rough hand. His companions erupted in laughter, their harsh sounds echoing through the loading bay. Eun-ji's large eyes, filled with a mixture of pain and determination, scanned the busy spaceport. Hundreds of species moved around her, muscular warriors, technological beings, traders with multiple limbs. And then there was her, small, seemingly insignificant. But beneath her fragile exterior burned something unexpected. A fire. A resilience that even she didn't fully understand. A trade ship from the outer colonies had just docked. Merchants were unloading strange containers, arguing about prices and routes. Eun-ji watched carefully, her enhanced vision picking up details others might miss. She noticed a small miscalculation in the cargo distribution. A container was slightly misaligned, which could cause potential balance issues during the next jump. Nobody would listen to her. Nobody ever did. As she watched, a large transport robot began moving the containers. Her keen eyes detected the potential disaster moments before it would happen. The misaligned container would cause a cascade failure that could damage millions of credits worth of goods. But who would believe a small, trembling Luminara girl? The robot continued its programmed path. Eun-ji's hands started to shake more intensely. She knew what would happen, but speaking up meant risking another humiliation. 3, 2, 1. The container shifted. A loud crash erupted. Goods spilled everywhere. Merchants screamed in rage, looking for someone to blame. Eun-ji remained silent, pressed against the wall. Her ability to predict mechanical failures, a unique trait of her species, went unnoticed once again. A human walking nearby glanced in her direction. Not with the typical dismissive look she was used to, but with something different. Curiosity. Assessment. Something that made her skin change from blue to a nervous green. Little did Eun-ji know that this moment would change everything. That the human's gaze would be the first step in a journey none could have predicted. Her story was just beginning. The spaceport continued its chaotic dance, unaware that within its massive structure, a transformation was about to take place. Eun-ji remained in her corner, invisible to most, but watching. Always watching. Her thin fingers traced the intricate bioluminescent patterns on her arms, markings that told stories of her ancestors, of a species often overlooked but never truly understood. Each subtle color change was a language, a communication system more complex than most species could comprehend. She was more than what they saw. Much more. And soon, very soon, the galaxy would understand. The cargo bay buzzed. Machines hummed. Aliens argued. And in the corner, Eun-ji waited. Patient. Observant. Ready. Her moment would come. Michael Roberts stood at the edge of the cargo bay, his weathered hands gripping a maintenance tablet. Years of space travel had etched lines into his face, telling stories of countless missions and narrow escapes. He wasn't looking for anything special that day, just another routine cargo check before his next interstellar jump. Something caught his eye. Not the busy merchants. Not the mechanical loading systems. But a small figure pressed against the far wall, almost invisible, but not quite. Eun-ji didn't move. Her breathing was shallow, calculated. Years of survival had taught her to become invisible, to blend into the background of a harsh, unforgiving universe. But today, something felt different. The human's gaze was different. Not predatory. Not dismissive. Something else entirely. Michael approached slowly. His years of military training meant he moved with a deliberate, quiet precision. Most alien species would have felt threatened, but Unji remained still. Her bioluminescent skin shifted subtly, a color change that represented caution, curiosity. "You saw the cargo problem earlier," Michael said quietly. It wasn't a question. It was a statement. Unji's eyes widened. How could he have known? Michael tapped his tablet. Surveillance footage played silently, showing her watching the cargo robot, her subtle body language predicting the incoming disaster moments before it happened. "Most would have ignored the warning," he continued. "But you noticed. Why?" Her species wasn't known for communication. Luminara were observers, not speakers. But something in Michael's tone felt safe. "Different. Balance," she whispered. Her first word to him was simple, precise. Michael smiled. Not a mocking smile, but a smile of recognition. The spaceport continued its chaotic rhythm around them. Merchants argued. Robots moved cargo. Ships prepared for jumps. But in this small moment, two beings from completely different worlds connected. "Want a job?" Michael asked. Those 3 words would change everything. Unji's skin shifted from nervous green to a curious blue. Her thin fingers clutched her worn jacket. A job meant survival. But with this human? Something felt different. Michael wasn't offering charity. He was offering opportunity. Her enhanced vision scanned him quickly. Military background. Experienced spaceship captain. Multiple planetary stamps on his travel documents. Someone who had seen more of the universe than most would in 10 lifetimes. "What job?" she asked, her voice barely a whisper. "Ship maintenance. Navigation assistance. Observation," Michael explained. "Your species sees things others miss. That's valuable out here." The cargo bay seemed to pause. Other aliens continued their business, unaware that a life-changing moment was happening right beside them. Unji understood survival. She knew opportunities were rare. Her entire existence had been about watching, waiting, adapting. This was an adaptation. "I accept," she said. Michael nodded. No dramatic speech. No long explanation. Just a simple acknowledgement of a new partnership. Her first step onto the starlight horizon would be the beginning of a journey neither could have predicted. A journey that would transform not just her life, but potentially change how the galaxy saw her species. The spaceport's background noise continued. Machines hummed. Aliens moved. But something fundamental had shifted. A human. An alien. An unexpected connection. Her story was just beginning. And the universe watched, waiting. The Starlight Horizon's training room was small but efficient. Michael watched Unji move through basic navigation simulations, her delicate fingers dancing across holographic interfaces with unexpected precision. Her first week had been a revelation. What Michael initially thought would be a simple maintenance role was transforming into something entirely different. Unji's neural network processed information unlike any species he'd encountered before. "Adjust trajectory by 0.03 degrees, she murmured, her bioluminescent skin flickering with complex color patterns that seemed to communicate internal calculations. Michael raised an eyebrow. The simulation showed her correction would prevent a potential collision hours before standard computer systems would detect the risk. "How did you see that?" he asked. Unji's response was simple. "Patterns. Everything has patterns." Her training wasn't just about technical skills. Michael understood she needed survival techniques. Physical conditioning. Mental resilience. The universe was unforgiving, and her species was considered weak. They started with basic combat simulations. Not aggressive fighting, but strategic movement. Unji's natural flexibility became an advantage. Where stronger species would use brute force, she learned to redirect, to calculate, to anticipate. Her thin frame began to change. Not through muscle bulk, but through controlled, precise movements. Each training session revealed another layer of her potential. Navigation systems became her playground. Complex stellar cartography that would challenge most experienced pilots seemed like simple puzzles to her. Her unique vision could detect gravitational anomalies that standard sensors would miss. Michael realized he wasn't just training an assistant. He was helping transform a survivor into something extraordinary. Weeks passed. The starlight horizon became her world. Her skin's color changes became a language Michael slowly learned to understand. Soft blue meant concentration. Shifting green represented curiosity. Rapid color transitions indicated complex internal processing. "You're more than what they see," Michael would often tell her. Much more. Each simulation, each training exercise peeled back another layer of her potential. Her species, long considered weak, possessed capabilities nobody had ever bothered to explore. Communication systems became her next challenge. While most species relied on verbal or electronic communication, Unji's bioluminescent patterns could transmit complex information almost instantaneously. This isn't just maintenance anymore, Michael realized. This is something else entirely. The cargo ship became a training ground. Every system, every interface became an opportunity for Unji to learn, to adapt, to grow. Her initial trembling had transformed into controlled, confident movements. Other crew members started noticing. Sideways glances turned into respect. The once ridiculed alien was becoming something unexpected. A weapon? No. Something far more valuable. A strategic asset. Her transformation wasn't just physical or technical. It was philosophical. She was learning that her perceived weakness could be her greatest strength. That being overlooked didn't mean being powerless. Michael watched her complete another complex navigation simulation. Perfect execution. Zero errors. "Ready for the next challenge?" he asked. Unji's skin shifted to a determined blue. "Always," she responded. The starlight horizon continued its journey through the vast, indifferent universe. But something fundamental had changed. A human and an alien. An unexpected partnership. A transformation just beginning. And the stars watched, silent witnesses to a story nobody had expected. The attack came without warning. Space pirates, ruthless and precise, emerged from a dark stellar pocket, their electromagnetic signature masked by cosmic radiation. Michael's standard alert systems failed. But Unji's enhanced perception caught something different. Her skin flickered rapidly. A complex warning pattern that made Michael turn seconds before the first energy pulse hit. "Incoming," she shouted, her voice cutting through the ship's sudden chaos. Most would have panicked. Unji calculated. Her fingers moved across navigation systems with lightning speed, rerouting power, creating complex defensive patterns that confused the pirates' targeting systems. The starlight horizon wasn't a military vessel. It was a cargo ship. Vulnerable. Exposed. But Unji was no longer the weak creature everyone had once dismissed. 3 pirate ships attacked simultaneously. Standard procedures would recommend surrender. Michael knew their cargo was too valuable to lose. Unji knew something else: they could survive. Her bioluminescent markings began transmitting rapid, complex patterns. She was communicating with the ship's systems in a language no standard computer could understand. Power redirected. Shield frequencies altered. Micro adjustments that made their ship slightly more than it appeared. "Divert secondary power to portside stabilizers," she commanded, her voice calm and precise. Michael followed without question. Years of military training had taught him to recognize genuine tactical intelligence. The first pirate ship attempted a direct energy assault. Normally, this would disable most cargo vessels. But Unji had prepared. The ship's modified systems absorbed and redirected the energy, sending a feedback pulse that temporarily disabled the pirate vessel's main systems. One down. Her fingers continued their complex dance across interfaces. She wasn't just defending. She was strategizing. The second pirate ship approached from a blind angle. Traditional sensors wouldn't detect it. But Unji's enhanced perception saw the approach moments before it happened. Rotating gravitational shield, she murmured, activating a defensive protocol Michael had never seen used before. The result was immediate. The pirate ship's approach was subtly altered, its trajectory thrown off by microscopic gravitational manipulations. Michael watched in stunned silence. The timid alien he had rescued was now conducting a complex space battle with unprecedented precision. The third pirate ship represented their greatest threat. Larger. More aggressive. Equipped with advanced weaponry. Unji's skin shifted through multiple colors, a complex communication system transmitting information faster than any verbal command could. Overload their primary targeting system, she instructed. A series of precise electromagnetic pulses erupted from the starlight horizon. Not destructive, but strategically disruptive. The pirate vessel's systems flickered. Confused. Vulnerable. Within moments, what should have been a certain defeat transformed into an unexpected victory. Silence filled the ship's bridge. Michael turned to Unji, who remained calm, her breathing steady. How? He asked simply. Patterns, she responded. Everything has patterns. The universe had underestimated her. Her species. But no longer. Her transformation was complete. The weak, ridiculed alien was now a strategic master, capable of defending an entire ship with nothing more than her unique perception and quick thinking. As emergency systems completed their diagnostic, Michael realized something profound. True strength wasn't about appearance. It was about potential. About seeing what others couldn't. Unji had just proven that. The starlight horizon continued its journey. Damaged but unbroken. Changed forever by one alien's unexpected abilities. And somewhere in the vast, indifferent universe, the stars seemed to quietly celebrate an impossible victory. 10 years had passed since that first space battle. Unji stood at the front of a training facility she had personally designed, overlooking a diverse group of recruits from marginalized species across the galaxy. Her reputation had grown beyond legend. The once ridiculed alien was now a respected strategic commander, leading a specialized unit that recruited individuals others had overlooked. Potential is not about appearance, she told her students. Potential is about perception. Her training center wasn't a military academy. It was a transformation ground. Here, species considered weak learned to become strong. To understand their unique capabilities. Michael Roberts, now her partner and primary mentor, watched from the observation deck. He had helped create this vision, a place where being different wasn't a weakness, but a strategic advantage. The recruits represented a stunning diversity. Small species. Fragile-looking beings. Those typically dismissed by mainstream military structures. But each possessed extraordinary hidden capabilities. Unji moved between training stations, her bioluminescent skin communicating complex instructions faster than verbal commands. A Xylonian recruit with transparent skin learned navigation techniques. A tiny insectoid species practiced electromagnetic communication strategies. Her training method was revolutionary. Not about building physical strength, but enhancing natural abilities. Understanding patterns. Calculating risks. Transforming perceived weaknesses into unexpected strengths. Look beyond what others see, she instructed. Her voice carried the wisdom of someone who had lived multiple lifetimes. The galactic military leadership had initially resisted her approach. How could these seemingly weak species become effective strategic units? But after multiple successful missions, their skepticism transformed into respect. Unji's unit had successfully completed missions considered impossible. Not through brute force, but through intelligent, calculated strategies that leveraged each species' unique capabilities. Her personal journey had become a beacon of hope. A living proof that being different wasn't a limitation. It was an opportunity. Michael approached her during a training break. "Proud of what you've built?" he asked. Her skin shifted to a warm, confident blue. "We built this together," she responded. The training facility represented more than a military program. It was a statement. A declaration that potential exists in unexpected places. That strength comes in many forms. Recruits from her program were now serving in diplomatic missions, strategic defense units, and advanced research teams. They weren't just soldiers. They were problem solvers. Innovators. As evening approached, Unji looked out over the training grounds. Her journey from a scared, ridiculed alien to a respected leader seemed almost unreal. "Remember," she told her final group of recruits, "the universe rewards those who see differently." Her legacy wasn't just about her personal transformation. It was about showing an entire galaxy that limitations are often just illusions. That true potential cannot be defined by external appearances. The training facility hummed with energy. Hope. Possibility. Outside, stars continued their silent dance. Watching. Waiting. Celebrating a story of unexpected triumph. Unji smiled. Her journey was far from over. It was just beginning. And the universe watched, ready for whatever came next.